Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to BWTM Online. This is the first live entertainment for 2018 since the upgrade to the TV channel. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Without further ado, we have with us all the way from the USA, Mia Moore.
Hi. This is a saga. Saga, no love. This is a saga. Saga, no love. You took from me, left me high and dry. Didn't give me a chance to say goodbye. Left the keys on the table. Didn't think I would be able. You told me I had no choice. You left me with no voice, lost alone and calling your phone, suddenly realizing you ain't coming home. This is the saga, 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 no lie. This is the saga, 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 no lie. Ready to be the wife, ready to have a strife, ready to have the kids, ready to ride, die, ready to have your back. Ready to be the wife, ready to have the strife, ready to have the kids, ready to ride, die, ready to have your back. Now you want me back. Isolated, humiliated, and so confused. You hurt me, had me feeling abused. You don't care about me at all. Staring at my phone, waiting for your call. Yet you never did call me at all. 2 years went by, standing tall. Got myself together and I got up. Now you're calling me. Hey yo, Mia Moore, what's up? This is the saga. Saga. Saga, no love. It's the saga. Saga, no love. I was ready to be wife, ready to have the strife, ready to have the kids, ready to ride or die, ready to have your back. Ready to be wife, ready to have the strife, ready to have the kids, ready to ride or die, ready to have your back. Now you want me back. Now you want me back. This is the saga. Saga, no love. This is the saga. Saga, no love.
Fantastic stuff there, Mia. How are you?
I'm great, Ingram. How are you?
I'm blessed and highly favored as always. Thank you for being on BWTM Online, the first for 2018. So, for people who don't know who you are, give us a bit of background as to who you are.
Well, I'm an American girl. Right now, traveling in the UK as an artist, singer, songwriter, and producer of my now 12 tracks that I'm very, very grateful, very, very thankful that I had a wonderful producer work with me on in New Jersey, where I spent a lot of time before coming to England. Before that, I was in Los Angeles. So just went back and forth in the United States on both of the coasts, New York and LA, just to share my creativity, my art. I just think that since I was 9 years old, I just always had that desire to share. And I think that everyone is so brilliant that, the talents that we have, somebody, can share, through their song, through their creativity, through their writing. Some of them do it in other ways. And I chose to do it through my music. That's all. I'm just doing it through my music. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe my messages will be understood. Even though some of my songs are political, Ingram, I still believe that it's love. And that's why Mi Amor, which means my love in French, Spanish, and Italian. That's what I am. Love.
Okay. Great, fantastic. So talk to us about, obviously you've got this, in the States are, I used to call them the divided states of America, not rather than the United. But from New York to Los Angeles, talk to us about the differences between working between both states within New York and Los Angeles, the differences and the benefits of being in between two states like that.
Well,
as an artist.
Then Ingram, when I lived in New York City, and I first told an agent, or what do we call in the U.S. a booking agent. She booked me on just not even a speaking role, but I was so grateful to be in a studio, a major television studio in the United States and in New York City where everything's happening. I felt so grateful. I didn't want to leave New York City, but something told me, this is it. You're gonna get this role in the back, and you may not ever get up front. So just take off when you can. So a few years back, I just decided, let me go to the West Coast and try it out, because of course people know the East Coast is known as being real, as being tough, as being 100%, and just rough and tough. And whereas Los Angeles is known as the La La Land, and the land of not really for real, and Hollywood's image is just definitely there's huge contrast. So let's just say my booking agent told me in a nice way that if I went to LA, where they do whatever she, I guess, was implying, which maybe wasn't good things, that she wouldn't be able to continue to work with me in New York. And that just showed to me at that time that there's this rivalry, like you just said, not the United States, it's the divided states. And instead of her pushing me along and saying good on you, that's courageous, she was not happy. So I just went on a whim that I would find my way eventually, and I did. I got into some jewelry making. I got into that because it was just a marvelous way to connect with the free-spirited people there in LA. And I did my music when I came back to New York, and just those two coasts in the United States are just totally different. And I mean, I felt like I couldn't do my music, honestly, in Los Angeles. I had to come back to New York, maybe because of the perception of things being more real and you being more true to your identity. Music to me is very important, to be able to say who you are. So it was great to say who I was through my jewelry, making my pieces. They were stories that I was creating. My semi-precious stones and my gold-filled sterling silver pieces were very expressive, spiritual pieces, but I really wanted to work on some music. I found the right producer when I came back to New Jersey, New York area. And I tell people when they ask me, where am I from? I say Los Angeles, but I lived in New York, and so I want to say that I am a Los Angeles girl, Ingram, but I can't say that I didn't also enjoy and appreciate New York.
Okay.
I do like LA.
So talk to me a bit about the Saga, the tune, the first song you started with, and we were introduced to you via the Saga, the first tune. Talk to us about the Saga and what inspired that.
So, Ingram, I was in this relationship for, what was it, like 5 years. So after 5 years, we knew that it was probably not going to work out. I just think that you should definitely stand behind your partner. You stand behind your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whoever it is. And I wanted to do that, Ingram, but it was just like, nah, I'm not gonna relocate for you when you can't even tell me whether or not you're going to stay here in LA. This was a relationship that formed and ended, I guess, kind of sort of in LA. Because even though we both actually ended up on the East Coast at one point, we still, I don't know. I think it ended in LA, but then we of course got back together when I got back to the East Coast. But it was officially ended in LA when we split apart. We were living together, and then when we no longer were living together, to me that was like, that's it, we're done. But it just kept going back and forth, Ingram. So it was just like the saga. It was just like, all right, are you gonna help me out and support my job and what I do? Are you gonna, compromise and not do the music as much and not do the jewelry? Or are you gonna, what are you gonna do? It was just, and so it was back and forth. And it just felt like, even after 7 years, it was just like, I'm too young to be experiencing this back and forth, this person who doesn't know what they want. And they say guys mature slower than women. Maybe these are the things, these are the reasons. I don't know, but I feel as though I was mature and ready for something real, but that wasn't happening. So I wrote the saga. So it was about a relationship that I had.
Maybe it's about you finding your life purpose and standing by your life purpose to be out there and be the fantastic artist that you are today.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I really felt like, if anybody can relate. I mean, I felt so sad. There were times when I felt depressed. Sometimes I felt elated and happy that it was over. But it helped me to become who I am. It helped me to be stronger, and it helped me to realize that life can go on. If a relationship doesn't work out for you, there's probably somebody else that is meant for you. So I would say just, do what I felt like I had to do. I tried to stay healthy. I tried to just stay grounded spiritually. I just tried to just be loving, and I got through it. And I wrote that song, I think, at that point that I was healed. So
what was the song you wrote after the saga? Like, so you would have had a tune that would have reminded you of was at that point. So there must have been a tune that you would have wrote after that to say you were moving on, or development, the next stage, next phase, something like that, maybe.
Touche. You're right, Ingram. But you know what's funny is that song, the saga, probably was always subconsciously in my mind, right? It was always in the back of my head. But I'm, to be very clear, as an artist, I love to be able to express myself and be honest, so that people can relate to me and know that they're awesome and they're amazing, and they don't have to be anything but who they are. For me, quite frankly, politically in America right now, there's a lot going on. There was talk at one point, even in Africa at one point. I know I saw an article online. Some people are pressing for the discussion of reparations. For me, that relationship, Ingram, I mean, we had a lot. I was very grateful for what we had in Los Angeles, how we were able to live, how we were able to, being young and being able to still, like, we had jobs, but we were still able to go out with our friends, invite our friends over. We had a pretty balanced life. But I think what also impacted the relationship, which is why it went back and forth, because sometimes I felt bad. I'm like, oh, the system's not really letting you win. You can't really, get the money that you're meant to get because of, the things that are in place. Certain people are not gonna, promote you to get to that level. So I just started thinking, man, like, what if we had that 40 acres in that mule? What if your grandparents, speaking of my partner, what if your grandparents had their 40 acres in their mule, which would have been handed down to your parents, and you had that, and I had mine? What if we had that? We wouldn't possibly be in this situation. And so I started really getting really upset, and I just started singing about 40 acres. I started making all these different verses up, Ingram. And so what came about was the song 40 Acres and a Mule. So yes. And I had a producer who was a Jewish white guy who was from Brooklyn, who came to New Jersey at the studio where I had met the one producer who introduced me to my current producer. So yeah, he understood where I was going with it, but it's more of a dance song, the actual beat to it, but I of course composed it to my guitar. So that song technically I think came before the Saga. I think.
Okay, can we hear it?
Absolutely. And my mule, my 40 acres, and my mule, my 40 acres, and my mule. You refused to give me what would make me completed. Instead, you gave me what will make me depleted. 40 acres and my mule, my 40 acres, and my mule, my 40 acres, and my mule. You refused to give me what will make me completed. Instead, you gave me what will make me depleted. If there was times when I was down, I know my granddaddy plowed that ground. Every time I go to that place, every time I see his big space, his awesome land that became white man. You got to believe that he had a plan, bringing you what I have as the truth you've been denying me ever since my youth. 40 acres and my mule, my 40 acres and my mule. You refused to give me what would make me completed. Instead, you gave me what would make me depleted. You have to give me what belongs to me. I won't be bothered with your jealousy. You stare at me trying to take me down, but I know my granddaddy, he plowed that ground. I know that you have to give me mine, but as soon as I speak, think out loud, I will not accept what you think. You have to step back, yeah, let cause I need not 10, not 20, not 30, but my 40 acres and my mule. Not 10, not 20, not 30, but my 40 acres and my mule. I've got all that I need to help me win, but I know that's gonna happen when you are able to give me all that's mine. You give me my 40 acres and mule, I'll be just fine. If you were thinking that I was down, I know my granddaddy plowed that ground. Every time I go to that place, every time I see his big face, I be my 40 acres, my 40 acres, 40 acres and my mule. 40 acres, my 40 acres, my 40 acres and my mule. You refuse to give me what would make me completed. Instead, you gave me what will make me depleted.
Wow. Now, I bet you didn't know this. There's a song done by the legendary Prince, rest in peace, called When Will We Be Paid? It was done, I think, with him and is it Jill Scott, maybe? Him and
No
Jill
way.
Scott. It's called When Will We Be Paid? That was about reparations.
I find that so interesting because no one has ever said that to me, Ingram. So you learn something new literally every day. I'm so thankful for you because now I can go and kind of get some inspiration for that song because I met somebody in England who really wanted to, expand on that song. And I was like, I'm trying to figure out a way to expand it. So if I could get inspired by Prince and where he was going and do some sort of a similar, just in tribute to him, and contribute that, because actually he did get paid. So maybe that needs to be my question. He had all of his catalogs. You know,
when will we get paid? When will we get paid? Talked about being in the plantation field. Talked about you know, anytime we ask for a loan, it's always a problem.
right?
You know, that sort of stuff. He mentioned that it's on the B side of a song called "You Make My Sun Shine." Yeah,
No way.
yeah. So on the B side of that track is when will we get paid? When will we be?
I just looking at like a short biography of Prince and how he, you know, he started off kind of rough, you know, where his mom and stuff, something happened where his mom and dad broke up and his dad kicked him out, and then he shopped around his music and they didn't buy it at first. And then finally the second time around he had his album, they bought that. So I wonder, do you know what year it came out? Was it his earlier?
No. This is more recent.
Oh,
okay. It was more recent.
I thought it was definitely older because I have not heard that. Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, so it would be late 2000s, maybe 2000. Let me hold on. I'll find out for you while we're here. The beauty of live. So others can look it up as well. When will we paid? Yeah. So basically, he says, when will we be paid for the work we've done? When will we be paid for the work we've done? That's the chorus. We fought in your wars in every land to keep this country free, y'all. For women, children, and men. And every time we ask for a loan, we ask for pay or a loan, that's when something seems to turn out wrong.
Wow.
We've been beat up, called names, shot down, and stoned. Every time we do right, somebody says we're wrong. Tell me, when will we be paid for the work we've done? When will we be paid for the work we've done?
What?
We worked this country from shore to shore. Our women cooked all your food and washed all your clothes. We picked cotton and laid the railroad steel, worked our hands down to the bone at your lumber mill. Tell me, when will we be paid for the work we've done? When will we be paid for the work we've done? Will we ever be proud of my country, this of thee? Will we ever sing out loud, sweet land of liberty? When will we be paid for the work we've done?
Oh,
I
wow.
want to know. I want to know. I want to know. I want to know when will we be paid for the work that we've done? Oh, when all of our tears stumble through this life for more than 300 years, I want to know the work we've done. So that's the lyrics and the song that Prince wrote, and it was done. Oh, it wasn't a Prince song. It was originally sung by the Staple Singers in 1970. And 1970 by the Stable Singers. That was the original version. Prince's version.
He didn't write it.
No, Prince's version was reportedly one of the tracks from his cancelled album High. The song was featured on the single You Make My Sun. There you go. So I was right about that. You Make My Sunshine. So there you go. So there's some inspiration for you there, Mia.
Wow. I want to see him. I want to see his interpretation of it. I want to see the video.
Yeah. I know there's a video to it, but yeah, I know the song's out there. So tell us more about you. So we know that you have a political message, which isn't a bad thing. We need people to have political messages. Tell us what's your stance on the whole Hollywood thing, because we know that there's a lot of stories going around that, you know, people selling their souls, people giving up their rights. We've heard it time and time and time again. Where do you stand with all that? And is that the reason why you're an independent artist?
Actually, it is the reason why. It's pretty much the reason why, Ingram. I was raised in the church, 9 years old. I do not judge anyone, and I still don't. And I think anybody who is saying things about how this person and that person is selling their soul, I just don't think that anybody can walk in somebody else's shoes. So if they say that any of these major artists are doing that, you don't know, and I don't know what really went down behind closed doors, what kind of things are being said. And yes, I do believe that there are certain things that you have to do in order to get in this industry. And I think that there's a certain amount of level of success that you can have if you do certain things. And I think that when you work hard to train your instrument, whether it be your vocals or if you play an instrument, if you do the right thing in distributing your music, which I believe that I'm on the right track. I sold 15,000 copies in the USA over a 2-year period, not even really going full time, like just all my attention on my CDs. So just imagine, Ingram. I mean, my goal is this year to really just have this razor sharp focus and put out another album within a certain period of time of 2019, and then still push the songs that are out now. The one that you just heard, these are new songs to some people in certain regions of the world because they haven't heard me play them. The United States haven't really experienced me playing my new tunes. I've played my new tunes at a gig that I had today in York, and so I just think that if I'm independent and I do the things in which are righteous, then I believe that things will come my way. As I said, I do not judge anyone, and that will always be that's how I was raised. I really cannot speak on what happens exactly in Hollywood or what happens even in New York City or London or any of the major cities. Look, I'm just as interested as probably other people to know if some of these theories and the conspiracy theories are true, but I don't go as far as probably most people. I leave it at, okay, it might be there. Let me just be aware of it so that I can protect myself. But that I don't go further than that. It's just to protect me so that I don't walk into that blindly. So yes, I plan to, if possible, Ingram, I would love to somehow have mass distribution as an independent artist. It's very difficult because
maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. So
I would like to think that it's achievable, and that's why
that's why I'm saying what I'm saying to you. Maybe not. Maybe you can still be an independent artist, still keep your rights, and still get mass distribution. Maybe not.
I mean, even just thinking about that, just there was this lightness that just got, every time I think about it, it's not about.
How about more maybe, and you just get rid of the not? Let's just say maybe.
Yes, exactly.
Let's move that maybe to possibly.
It's not about ego, it's about
let's move that possibly to probably. Let's move that probably to gonna be. Let's move that gonna be to is. It's your time to shine.
I would like for it to be everybody's time to shine. Everybody who has helped me along the way, everybody who has been a part of being Mia Mhoor's fan in their own way, whether it's just buying the CD or telling me good luck, like that stuff is just best. So
Mhoor show. This is the Mia Mhoor show. This is about you. This is your moment. Shine. So Mia, talk to me a bit about the challenges you faced as an independent artist, as most independent artists will face. What are the challenges you faced and how you've overcome them?
Mostly, probably, I guess that, I mean, I don't want to say that, okay, being a female is difficult, because men have difficulties in this industry just the same.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that when people see you as an independent artist, they just, the difficult part is, helping people to understand that there's other routes other than X Factor. Everyone, when he grabbed on, what was that?
We'll come on to that.
Everyone, anywhere. I mean, I'm talking about from New Jersey to Miami to California to London. They want to know, why don't you do one of those competition shows? And I say the same thing. I mean, people don't understand that when you're an independent artist, you have control. I mean, I didn't do very well, Ingram, with my performing arts teacher. I didn't do well with him kind of controlling my learning when it came to acting and singing and doing everything within the creative realm of theater. I didn't like that. And him and I butted heads, right? So I realized at 14, not that long ago, I realized, I'm like, I can't be put in a box. You can't just give me this ghetto girl role, or this pregnant teen role, this boyfriend is beating up the girl kind of role, all this kind of stuff, this stereotype. I was like, you can't do that to me. So the same thing goes into my music. I can't be, I would not try to be, Alicia Keys or India Irene, Lauryn Hill. I wouldn't try. Those are people I respect, Ingram, but I wouldn't try to dare, compare myself to those people. I am independent because I would like to control my own path and my own image. That's what I would like to do. Like I said, people always ask me why I don't go on to these shows, and I tell them the same thing. Long story short is, there's something behind that whole scene of those shows that people don't know about. I did have my close friend who was actually going to come with me along my journey with my music, because he was a brilliant singer. He still is. But when we were together, working together, I thought we would go travel together. He wasn't for it, but I was thinking, that's how I can stay independent, as long as I have my homie, if he's with me and we go and but he didn't want to travel. So I just think that when he told me about his experience and going to one of those competition shows, which I won't say which one it was, but he went, did the full on, he's brilliant as a singer. He was going to probably go ahead and pursue it. But once he read the fine print, they get a lot from the artist.
I basically heard, before you go in, they basically have control of your whole life. All the material you've had on YouTube previously, they can take that down. Anything that you own previously, they can take. Anything you currently own, they can take. And anything you do in the future, they can have. You don't have a voice. You cannot speak out unless they give you permission to speak. You basically don't have your own life. You no longer have your own content, because all the content you have is no longer your own. Your own life isn't your own anymore. And even if you are not successful on their shows, they still own you.
And Ingram, that's really the most truthful way to put it. I try to just tell people, oh, they take a sliding scale percentage of your payment once you get to a certain point of the competition. And people, like, when I say that, they just look at me like I have 10 heads. They're just thinking, well, what's wrong with only having 20% and giving a network already making and having billions? Why not give them the 80% for 5 or 10 years of your life, and then after that you're free? But I don't.
Why didn't you ask them why they're not doing it?
I can't see what they say in England, cheeky. I cannot afford, as a new artist coming in, to just to be like that towards people. I have to be calm and gentle and let them know that I understand. You want me to do well. You want me to get exposure, because that's really where they're coming from. It's in their heart. They want me to just blow. They don't want me to be out there being like, hi, my name is Mia. Can you take my CD and listen to it? Like, they don't really want me to struggle. And they see sometimes it's hot, it's cold, it's raining. I'm out there with my CD. I'm out there busking, you know, Saga. And so I think that they have good intentions. They want me to get exposure. And I try to tell them in a very, like, not so confrontational way that it's a lot that the networks take.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, what would be a track that you've got that would express your independence and against being um, caged? A song that would express that.
A song that would express being caged. Oh,
Yes.
you know. I don't know if you've listened to my songs, Ingram. Is that why you're asking me that? But
I haven't. I'm basically just going off your vibe and then just jumping off that. I literally listened to your first two songs like before I went to. I tried not to do that. I listened to the first two songs and that was it. It was the Acres. I listened to 40 Acres. I didn't know it was connected to the Reparations because I didn't really listen to it. I just listened to the beat. And the Saga I loved because there was like a real rhythm to it. And the Saga, it sounded like an old school garage tune when I heard it, when you were doing the Saga. So it had that garage feel to it. And there should be a garage version to it, I think. But yeah, I like that as well. So I just figured that surely a person so independent and had to fight for their independence would have a song out there that would be all about fighting for that independence and
yes,
being free as a bird or something like that.
it's funny you should say that, Ingram, because once I got done with 40 Acres, I think I might have been working on at that time Saga. I'm not sure. But what I was experiencing, you know, in the USA, sometimes people sell used cars, and guess what? You know, you might get lucky, you might not get so lucky. Somebody sold me a used car, and I loved it. I took care of it. I got it fixed up, and I would drive that car any and everywhere. Go pick up my mate. We would come back to my place, hang out. But every time we went anywhere, especially him and I and one of our other guy friends, whenever we would drive on what we call in the U.S. the highway, we would be on the highway, and next thing you know, we're getting pulled over, we're getting searched, we're getting questioned, we're getting, you know, somebody looking at us as though we've committed a crime. And I just never forget the one time it was snowing, massive snow on the ground, freezing cold winter temperatures. My friend's grandmother lived only 15 minutes from me. So I said, let's go over, show out her driveway for her. That's the least we could do. I lived in a complex where they did it for me. So I just felt so grateful. I just wanted to be able to, because she took care of my friend. Like, she always, you know, was there for him. So I just was like, let's go help her. So we got in the car, go to shovel. As we pull up in front of her house, we're getting stopped by the local police. And I just, at that point, I you know, if you ever saw the show in America, it's called Snapped. That was my snap moment. I didn't go off on anybody. I just felt like, man, we're about to come and shovel snow, a good deed. How do you see me with my, he said, I think the officer said something about my blinker. He said, oh, you turned it on a little late. And I'm thinking, well, you were back at me. And quite honestly, my friend told me we can get into his development two different ways, and we didn't know which way the snow would be the worst. We were trying to figure it out. Forgive me. You know, I may put it on a little bit late, but were you about to like rear end me a little bit if I didn't put it on soon? So I'm sorry. I just didn't understand it. So at that point, I just said, let me put this in my music. I can't lash out. Making a complaint will make it worse. Let me put it in my music and let people know. So my song, Let Us Live, Let Us Pray.
Oh, wow.
So that was a pretty long explanation, but I just wanted to give, because usually when I tell people why I wrote the song, it's a very short, but that experience, I think, might have been what triggered it. I don't want to say 100% for sure, but I just remember constantly. Let me tell you the kind of car that I have. It is an older car, Ingram, but it's a BMW. I think just because of the fact that it's a model of a, it's a convertible. Maybe it's the fact that it's a convertible, tinted windows in the back. Me as a Black woman in America driving it with another person of color, you know, in the car with me. I don't know. We would get in a lot of trouble constantly. So I just wrote this song.
I take it you didn't see the whole thing about Chris Rock, right? Did you have the white friend in the front of the car?
You know what's funny? Chris, my white friend, he was in the back seat. That was a mistake.
You should have had him in the front seat.
That was the mistake. Quite honestly. But you know what's funny is that when we got stopped, they made him come from out of the back of the car to search him. So I think that it was just bizarre chance that we put him in the back seat that time. But quite frankly, I think we were still mostly.
Yeah.
No, actually, no. Usually my one friend, he did ride in the front, and that was our biggest probably mistake. Now that I think about it. Yeah. So
the tune is called?
It's called Let Us Pray.
Okay.
So you like me to play that one for you?
Yeah, please.
Let us live, let us live, let us pray, let us pray. Let us live, let us live, let us pray, let us pray. Let us live, let us live, let us pray, let us pray. Let us live, let us live, let us pray, let us pray. We go and we flow, we do what we do. We are the brand new, we are on the scene. You must have thought that you were being mean, but we're so lean. But we understand your plan to try to hold us down, but we can't even hear a sound. Chilling and posting and praying. We need to understand what you're saying. Chilling and posting and praying. I need to understand what you're saying. Let us live, let us live, let us pray, let us pray. Let us live, let us live, let us pray, let us pray. Let us live, let us live, let us pray, let us pray. Cause you gon' dance to this beat. You gonna stomp your feet. You gon' dance to this beat. You gonna stomp your feet. Here we are, driving the car, and here we are, we're doing our thing, and we got to bring you something nice and something with a little bit of spice. We are living our life and having no strife. As can be, you can't see me. Stop us now, you might as well flee. Believe me, we still gon' be free. This song is fly, you wanna know why? Me or more busting through the door. But we understand your plan. We try to hold us down, but we can't even hear a sound. Chilling and posting and praying. We need to understand what you're saying. Chilling and posting and praying. We need to understand what you're saying. Let us live, let us live, let us pray, let us pray. Let us live, let us live, let us pray, let us pray. Let us live, let us live, let us pray, let us pray. Breathe, pray, fun. Breathe, pray, fun. Breathe, pray. Let us live, let us pray. Let us live, let us pray. Let us pray, let us pray, let us pray, let us pray. Let us pray, let us pray. Let us live, let us live, let us pray, let us pray. Let us live, let us live, let us pray. Breathe.
Beautiful. So, Mia, you're currently in the UK, so you're on tour, correct?
I am on tour. I am on tour from leaving the United States, where I went from New Jersey, New York area, down the coast, over to Los Angeles and back. And then as soon as I saved up a little bit, Ingram, as soon as I kind of got a picture, an idea where I could leave my car so it's available, so when I come back, I can get back on tour if I need to with my car, kind of work some things out, got to customs and had very little money, and customs almost didn't want to let me in because they thought, hey, how are you going to survive? You get this guitar on your back. What are you going to do? Actually, at that point, no, I don't think I have my guitar because I think I had to go get it pick it out of baggage. But yeah. Yes, I've been in the UK, gone down to southern England, to Kent, to Cardiff, to Bristol, come up to central England, to London, and now I am in northern England, Birmingham, Manchester, York, Leeds, and I'm gonna have to circle around back again and come and go to Edinburgh and Dublin.
You need to come down the south. You need to come to Worthing and Brighton, Sussex.
Oh, I actually have been in Brighton. I sold some CDs in Brighton. It's just I stayed for the weekend, and by the time I got back to London, I booked some gigs in London, and I didn't forget about Brighton. I will be back.
Okay. So tell us, how do people follow your journey?
That's a good question. I think really when I talk to people when I'm out and I'm doing my gigs, like today, for example, I did a gig in it's called the Black Horse, and it's very intimate, very small, private area in this restaurant pub, and I really enjoyed it. And the host, Susie, just said to me, hey, I saw that you put your you booked, here, and you put it on your website that you're touring. And that was, that was really cool to hear her kind of confirm, reaffirm that like my efforts are not being wasted by telling people, go to my website, www.mulemusic.com. By doing that, putting that on my CDs, Ingram, by just word of mouth, telling people I have my tour dates on my website. People have come up to me to tell me that they looked and they said, oh, when are you coming back to this venue? So that's the best way, because I could just pop right on there as the admin of my site and just enter in the address, the postcode, the date and the time of the venue, and be there. So social media, of course, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Mhoor, all those, YouTube, will have my videos and stuff, but not my tour information. So really the best thing I would say is just stick with going to the website, because some people don't even have Instagram or Facebook or Twitter. And so stick with the website, mulemusic.com.
And you answer all, so you do all the admin yourself, and there's no third person.
There's no third person, Ingram, because I had a team. Once upon a time when I was in New York City, I had a team, brilliant team, brothers who were just on their, what we say in New York a lot, grind. These brothers, I really respected them. I respected what they did. I respected that if I needed my CDs, 100, 1,000, whatever I needed pressed up, they would get them for me. I'd go to Harlem, pick them up. But the problem is, Ingram, as an independent artist, if you're not making money, you're not known just yet, you cannot be spending the 500 pounds or whatever it is, US dollars even. You can't just be, you can't do it. And I realized that after the fact. I spent my rent money. I know that's a no-no. People don't do it. But I did. I spent my rent money to just to say, hey, I have somebody helping me with my website. I have somebody helping me with my iTunes, my distribution. I have somebody helping me with my product, my merchandise. But all that money, Ingram, was not a good idea to be paying someone else. So I learned how to actually I made my website for my jewelry years ago as well, so I can't say that forced me to do my music website on my own. I think, yeah, I do it on my own to save money. I go in, I do everything, the artwork on my website. I do, any text, video, everything. I do it all because I should save right now to continue to tour as an independent artist, because it's, that's an expense.
So the videos I've seen that are out there, some really good videos you got out there. I see the Saga being one. That's
Yeah.
what I lose. Saga. I like the Saga a lot. It's got a UK bounce to it. The Saga. So how did you film that?
Oh, that one was with the team that I had in New York. I mean, my manager at the time booked me for a show, Club Pyramid, where a lot of rappers were also on stage. It was sort of a showcase, and there was this one star that came in, and he came in and did his thing. And because he came in with his entourage, and it was just massive amount of people, for some reason, because I was outside giving my CD out, my manager just decided to give my slot for my songs to this guy who, yeah, he's been in the industry for years and years and years, and he's with one of artists I respect, and not to say anything bad about Spliff Star, but he being with Busta Rhymes at one point, I admire him, I admire what he does, but I just thought, okay, well, usually, he gets a certain amount of time because he's the featured actor. I understand we're all kind of opening up for him, but where was my slot? So I didn't get a slot. So what I'm calling him my producer, but he was like the manager. The manager said, "Hey, I'll give you a good video. I'll make sure you get a really good video for the Saga, as making up for not giving you your slot tonight."
Okay.
Yeah, because at that time I paid for my slot. So he said, "Okay, I'll give you the video for the fact that you didn't go on." So I had a guy, Power Productions, just him and me in the camera. We filmed it on the upper West Side, where I used to live, near Harlem, 168th Street. I used to live all the way up on 207 and Broadway. So we filmed it in like 5 seconds. It was really quick. It was really easy. It was really fun. And it was just him and I with his camera.
Okay. Now, if you had a minute to sell yourself in terms of your music to somebody who would allow you to be independent, allow you to keep your rights, allow you to express yourself the way you wanted to fulfill your dreams, what would be that song you would play right now?
The song that I would play?
Yes.
Actually, there's a song that I wrote. It's a new song. I just, for the first time, performed it live today. It's called Chosen. Now, thing. What was that?
Go ahead.
Called Chosen Ones. So I do believe that there are, and I'm not going to go into discussion of who's the chosen ones, what color they are, what part of the region of the world they're from. I identify myself with being among the demographic of chosen. So, and then a lot of us are. And so I wrote a song called Chosen. So, and I like that song.
Well, go ahead, play it.
Well, here's the thing. You have to bear with me because I don't have the words in front of me to cheat, right? So I'm just going to play as much of it as I can. Is that okay?
Okay. I did say 30 seconds or a minute. So I said 30 seconds or a minute. So, yeah.
You asking me, I'm asking you, are we the chosen few? You asking me, I'm asking you, are we the chosen few? They asking me, I'm asking you, are we the chosen few? We are the ones face the pain. You can't see what's going on with me. Why? 'Cause you're in another country. More fighting, more protest, division in this country.
Very good. Very good. So, what kind of inspired it?
What was that?
What inspired The Chosen?
Good question. I think that back to real quickly about Let Us Pray also. The church thing in South Carolina, you know, when it happened a few years ago, and that was so devastating. That also I remember actually specifically talking to my producer about Let Us Pray, because we weren't even able to go to church and pray without something happening that was terrible. And I put it in the words breathe because of what happened to you know, the gentleman who, you know, he's just standing there, he's selling loose cigarettes, Eric Gardner, and he ends up no longer here on the earth. So just to go back to that one, it wasn't just about my experience also. I'm just saying, Let Us Pray was about the people that were also experiencing some of the same things I was experiencing in the US. But A Chosen was written because I just think that there's a lot of lost information about the history of African Americans specifically in America. And I just don't like looking into my little niece's face, my little nephew, and them thinking that they're not brilliant and beautiful and amazing and intelligent and great. I just don't like it. And so I just wanted them to know that they're chosen to be here, no matter what they're going through, no matter what is happening, no matter what they see on TV, no matter what anybody's telling them, they are worth it. They're enough. They're chosen.
The kings and queens.
Huh?
They're kings and queens.
You said it, not me.
I'm allowed to.
You know, I am in England, you know, and so there's actually a queen on the throne and the king. So I just.
Well, before them, there were kings and queens that walked the earth. Way before them. So, Mia, well, just to end, what would be your message for people? Obviously, those who want to get in contact with you, you said go for the website, of course, Mia Mhoor. It's miamoormusic.com, is it?
Yeah, and you know, the spelling is very imperative that it's done correctly, because at this point I haven't done a lot of, I guess, connecting all the different ways you can spell Mhoor to my name. I haven't done that just yet, but it is pronounced Mhoor the same way the North African Moors, or the name, common name Mhoor, that's spelled Moore, but it's Mia, that's the first name, which in Spanish means mine, and Mhoor, and if you put the two together, it means my love. But I'm just spelling it MIAMH, or in England they say HOOR. So yes, it is Mia Mhoor, MIAMHOOR MUSIC. So just think of the music and Mia Mhoor together. Love music. That's what I do. I don't know if I'm doing a really good heart or not, but
you're doing a wonderful harp, and you're doing wonderful. Well, Mia, it has been absolutely awesome having you on BWTM Online. We look forward to seeing more of you. And it'd be nice if we could do an extended version of this, maybe when you know, before you go home, or you know, or before you go onwards, or before you leave. It'd be great.
Well, I mean, I plan on, Ingram, now that you mentioned it, I plan on going over to East Asia. So please, you know, if you are in that region of the world, or you will be there, or you know somebody there, word of mouth is very important. Please look out on my calendar and come out to any venue if you can. Be brave enough to come out and support me in the country of wherever I am, if you're there.
Well, you know now that all you have to do is click one button and you're in our studios and you can be performing. You can tell us the latest news.
Oh, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
Mhoor, once again, thank you so much for being on BWTM Online. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having me, Ingram. You know, many thanks to you, your wife. You guys, you're amazing. And I'm really, really thankful that you took this time out. And I will absolutely make sure that, you know, you guys will see this on my Instagram, my Facebook, my Twitter. I'll try to do as much as I can. And yeah, stay connected.
You take care.
Thank you.